I had to choose, I would still choose you. After all the things society has told you to imbue, somehow your light has been able to shine through. The power resides within divine feminine, not only in women, but also in men. The balance obtained here is what will light our feet on the path to come. It is the strength that we keep near that will allow our spirits to hold steadfast and not succumb. The energy of love, of life, of all creation. The spark of light in the womb that combusts, evolves into a nation. The divine feminine, the power held so dearly. The divine feminine, the scope that allows us to see one humanity again so clearly. The power that we hold, the sparkling in our eyes, how our self and inner beauty unfold in the truth seen beyond the disguise. Oh, you are divine, Mother Nature. Mother Earth, I am thankful daily for all of the miracles that you birth. When I sit and I truly ponder the things that I'm grateful for, my heart does not wander. Because I know truth, and truth is love. If you live through understanding of self, then nothing comes above. When you understand your oneness with nature and all else that surrounds, you stop being disturbed by all of the external sounds. You realize the silence within yourself. You understand the meaning of true wealth. It is your health. Everything you intake then becomes part of your body, your temple, your physical self. Understand that the keys to your kingdom again lie within yourself. With all of this, we must remember, there is nothing here with which we are not members. We must honor and respect the environment as ourselves, because we are directly impacted by everything we output, and that equates to our health. Kindness, love, grace. Allow heaven to become embodiment, much more than a place. And when things seem difficult, you are able to face, because through your divine feminine, you will recall your righteousness that cannot be replaced.
Good evening. Hopefully y'all can hear me. I'm going to sit down and let you know that I apologize for the late come on. There was some energy out there trying to stop this moment from happening. There was some energy out there trying to stop this moment from happening. It did not win. So I welcome queens, I welcome the kings to this moment of evolution, because these are the moments that we sit down to evolve. This is a special series of The African Speaks. This has topic that we're about to talk about, and about to embark on, um, and interact on, because there's going to be more than one. This is a whole series. This is how I am making an effort to celebrate motherhood, celebrate Mother's Day. I'm not waiting for the day to come. I am starting early, because you know how that happens. Everybody celebrates Mother's Day, and so we're always busy. So I wanted to get mine in early in regards to not just saying, giving my thanks and gratitude to the women in my life who helped develop me, but to Black women in general, in this journey where I'm seeking to grow and grow deeper into my experience of becoming the African in me, the rise of the African. And that, of course, is always our main focus. It is always the rise of the African. However, there is no African in me without acknowledging the Black woman's medicine. And then this topic that we use, the Black woman's medicine, and I should have had the one with the subtopics in it, which is triumph, trauma to triumph, the journey to the divine feminine. Now, in that space, and I've been privileged to hear conversations and sisters talk about the divine feminine. And a lot of times when I'm listening to these conversations, it's coming, sisters bring it with the ego. And that's cool because they have a right to develop an ego in regards to who they are and standing on it. Because if they don't believe it and stand on it and live from that truth, who will? Black women live in a world where they're the only ones standing on their truth. The Black man is not standing on her truth with her. Most of the time, her children are not standing on her truth with her. Society as a whole is not standing on her truth, her divinity, and then the depth of her divinity. Now, again, I had some technical difficulties that was forbidding me to launch this on time. And I had to pause and I had to breathe and I had prayer and meditation and outward energies coming in. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Coming in to help me get this worked out so that I can have this intro, so you speak. Because what we're going to do is we're going to those who listen and chime in on a constant basis, I'll flatten. I can't send it out in public. The Zoom meeting that'll allow me to bring the Zoom in to the show where you see her picture. There will be a Zoom call there where individuals who just wants to have a conversation and wants to enjoy the conversation or join into the conversation and have this dialogue. We can do that as we continue. However, this is just an intro on the divine feminine. And I'm not quite sure if and I know a lot of sisters in my community, real talk, rarely talk about this. Rarely. And they're Black conscious. Okay, let's get that. That's why this is an evolution moment. We are a part of a community called the Shrines of the Black Madonna, and we named Black Madonna on purpose, not the Temple of the Black Messiah. And as I began to study, and what triggered some of this information was it was three things: the failure of my life, right? Family debacle, and I accept all responsibilities that I contributed to that. One, a conversation with my daughter was the second one. The conversation with my daughter was based on, she said, Dad, when you do the African speaks, you got to have strong female content. I said, but of course, Daddy can have good female conversation. And she was like, no, because what the Black woman goes through is just as it's even worse than what the Black man goes through in terms of police brutality. She said, Daddy, doctors are the Black women in the same way that cops are the Black men. And I at that time had not heard about that phrase. And then I called someone else and someone else and someone else, and it validated the statement. Then I did my own research and study and started realizing, whoa, the young black woman. I looked at my daughter and I had tears in my eyes because I did not understand her being. Now everybody knows how much I love my kid. Everybody knows how much I poured into her, how much I did the best I could to empty the good things about who God created me to be in terms of my call to be her father, leading her to her divine self, leading her to her ear being open to the ancestors so she can hear her calling, leading her so that her mind opens up so she sees with a third eye. Mm, I did the best I could with what I knew. And as I began to learn more, I began to pour more. But when she said that, I started studying heavily, not heavily, but increasingly, put it that. And I began to evolve as a black man. Mm, right. Brothers, you're not a king if you don't understand the journey it takes for your counterpart to be a queen, right? Oh, treat me like a queen. Man, it's so much more than you just saying it. And so that journey part. The third part was I've I'm constantly meeting sisters who are on the divine feminine journey. And that's good because that means my energy field has increased to the point that what is being drawn to the circle, I always tell people my motto, become what you seek into what you seek seeks you. So my energy field had increased to the point was I was seeking, and that in my community, a seeker is called a malekio. I was seeking more wisdom about the divine feminine and the power of the black female. And last year, I was asked to give the Mother's Day sermon, and I might repurpose that one because it was powerful. Sister said that was one of the most powerful ones they've heard. Uh, since then, I've had people tap into my show and use use some of my stuff I was doing as it was their own. So the best flattery is people biting off your stuff, which is a beautiful thing. And so in that space, as I was learning or communicating and conversing with sisters on the journey to experience their divine feminine, I sat down and started diving even more. And I said, it hit me. So one of the people that I was talking to, her name was Tanea. Tanea was an old friend. Understand the word I used. Tanea was an old friend where I would call her and I would have dialogue about what I'm about to write, what I'm about to put together, what I'm about to interact with. And in that conversation, we were talking about downloads and how downloads, of course, is the voices of your ancestors. It's the information that they send you when you're open to receive. That channel of communication is the blocks of that channel is opening up and you hear your downloads. You hear things. You feel more your tuition. We'll talk about that. And so she was supposed to come over and have a discussion about ancestral downloads. But she wasn't supposed to come over. She was supposed to join the show. And so in the process of that day, she hit me up while I was in the middle of work, said, "Look, I'm in the neighborhood. Can I come through?" I was like, "Yeah," I figured she was coming through for the show. But I was like, you don't have to be here for the show. I'd rather you know, come in via virtually. And it didn't happen. But when she got here, she passed out on the couch because she had COVID. Out cold. Couldn't move, couldn't sit up. I saw COVID straight up. And immediately went to making my COVID tea, cleansing my respiratory system, trying to get it healthy. It took us 4 days to get her off the couch. She felt by Friday that happened on a Tuesday, Monday. Yeah, Monday. Because at that time the show was on Mondays. Then she left the house by Saturday. No, I think it happened on Tuesday. She left the house by Saturday. And a year later, I was mad. I was upset. And I cut communication. My daughter was like, Daddy, somebody doesn't show up your house with COVID and just crashes until they get better. And I was like, yeah. So I was really upset. But then when the universe called me to reach out to her, she had passed away because she kept coming into feeds of information, just kept coming. I'm like, why is she popping up? Why is she popping up? Well, let me look into it. So I went on a page and checked it out, and her family was celebrating her life. And she had come from a life of trauma. And I said, what puts you on this path of becoming a counselor to Black girls and Black women? She said, I survived my trauma. Now I want to not only just be a survivor of trauma, I want to be healed from it. And then once I'm healed from my trauma, I want to heal others from my trauma. And the downloads began sometime as Mother's Day creeped on, where I could hear her. She had left her schedule book here and everything, and I was like, hmm. And then another friend of mine who became a psychologist based on becoming a wounded healer from trauma. Her guide said, you will be a wounded healer. And so she just became a counselor. And I said, these women who are seeking the divine feminine are seeking medicine until they become medicine. Mm. Black women who are overcoming they don't just want to be survivors of trauma, they want to be healed from it. Where they seek medicine until they become medicine. Mm. And in that space, in the journeys of being, going after and this is the intro, going after or dipping into the journey of seeking medicine till you become medicine, overcoming trauma to your triumph, your journey to the divine feminine. One of the things they deal with in that journey is womb healing. And I know some womb healers. I know a group of sisters who do some womb healing, and they discuss, interact, communicate on a regular basis. Womb healing. And if you look at the picture that I found for womb healing, it's not just the lower extremities. However, that is, something that the Black man don't have. Women have two wombs. Two. And they're dealing with the womb healing. The first level of womb healing, the first womb is your mind. It's that process. It's the healing of how you're thinking. It's the healing of how they are thinking that changes. Then it's the lower area where they're having issues with reproduction. They having fibroids, and even it states in some of the studies and readings and audios I've been indulging in. Even if you, because they said there are ways to heal your womb where you don't have to have a hysterectomy. And I remember one time I was Ubering and I was riding with a Muslim sister. I always say Muslim, but Muslim friend of mine said, make sure you say Muslim. That's that, a Muslim sister. And she said if any of the queens are having problems with um, trouble problems with menstrual cycles, hard menstrual cycles, discharges, cramping, fibroids, you can reverse that through womb healing. But the time it takes you to destroy your womb, it may take you some time to heal. So it's not quick fix overnight. in European medicine, yeah, just cut it out, get rid of it. If you once you hit an age where they say you're not having children, just get rid of it. Why? Because they don't understand the power of it. However, there are processes that even if you don't have a womb, there are different processes for those who still have everything intact versus those who may not. They're going through the processes of finding and experiencing that divine feminine. And then the other thing is I don't have this example, but in this process, and we're just this is the intro because we're going to get into all of those a little bit deeper as we go on. But then that other one, the second area that they work on is life, speaking life. And in the process, you cannot heal if you can't speak life to yourself. And so it's the language of spirituality, the power of your word, knowing that you are a creator in your being. That's why they say speak to your child. You're creating the moment of conception. And in your thoughts, the moment of your thoughts. You have to speak life. Dealing with medicine. Again, black women seeking medicine until they become medicine. Their language is different. The language of seek is of a Malakio who seeks to experience her divine feminine. Your conversation has to change. Your dialect has to reflect your spiritual awareness. Different things. And again, this is the intro because we're going to go deeper into these topics. And I'm going to have sisters come on, and it won't be me talking. It'll be us communicating and sisters giving their experiences. I've been calling. And if you haven't gotten a call from me, text me if this is interesting to you and you want to talk about it because I'll call you. Sisters in my community, yeah, sometimes they're willing to talk, and most of the time they're not. Ain't that something? So most of the time you see people that are on the show, they're not from my community. It's funny. But that's okay because God has said that you got a greater community. And so there's that language. And I had the conversation with Kalonji, the power of emotions and words. Those words create. The power of life resides in the tongue. Power of life and death. Or the wages of life and death lie on the power of the tongue. Let me paraphrase correctly. The balance. So what are you talking? What do you sound like? When people hear you, what are you speaking toward? When you think, your words are your thoughts by that mind, that first womb. What are your thoughts? Do you speak life in your thoughts? Because if you have to think before you speak, because you might be thinking wrong, you're not there yet. You're getting there, but it's natural. When it comes natural, when the language of liberation is natural. I got work to do on myself to master my divine masculine. Because we can't be on this earth as two separate parts. It's got to be two connected parts. And so you attract things different. The other thing that they'll be working on in terms of seeking the divine feminine that experience is the area of healing, the garden healing, what it's called. Meaning that your medicine, your vegetation, how you eat, where your food becomes thy medicine. Your food, your source, what you intake, the garden medicine, and that also not just diet, because the diet changes everything. The sister that I was talking to, she said, yeah, if you have a sister change her diet, you can shrink her fibroids. You have to eat according to what the body needs, not according to what you like, whether you like it or not. No. Had another friend who had some medical issues and she was eating healthy. I said, that ain't gonna do anything for you. And she was mad. I don't know if I was too hard or not, but she said, "Thank you, brother, because I literally changed my diet and only ate what affected my ailment and I healed faster." That's that garden healing. How you eat. And then that, we're gonna talk about that part too, because in how you feed your children. Mm. Everything leaks. So you have the womb healing, which is your mind and your and the productive system. You have language healing, which is the power of your word, and then you have garden healing, or how you eat. In the mission and towards going towards your divine feminine. This is the intro. Because sisters, I'm like, okay, y'all claim it, but are you putting the work? You know how you say, hey sister, you have to do the work. You have to do the work. You have to do the work. And so there are sisters who are making this long journey, not just because they want to be conscious or, no, they're seeking their truest power. When we talk about in our church community, the best self theology, if this ain't a black woman's best self, I don't know what is. Mm. We need to add some more conversation to our sermons, our lessons. They need to be a lot deeper than what they've been. Mm. Not who's there. Another thing that it talks about. See, okay, that's that womb healing. It's also, wait, where's it at? I could get the when you start dealing with the your diet, and since you're already eating green, that doesn't mean you become vegan. But why not? That doesn't mean you stop eating pork, but why not? But when you start dealing with your diet, the next thing that's green that you want to deal with is the heart chakra. Woo. So far we're channeling up. Your energy channels up. But that heart chakra is key. Why? Because it is the doorway to 1, 2, 3. The higher 3 chakras. If your heart is not right, if it is unbalanced in any shape, because you talk about that bitter woman, you're talking about your emotions. Black woman is bitter. Black woman is angry. And it's that life environment you live in. You can't make this journey if you're not in control of who you are. If somebody call you the B word, do you trip or do you feel sorry for the individual who doesn't have the eye to see? And you remove yourself from the vicinity of the fool? Or do you stand there and fight? Because the fight that we have as a people is a lot larger than the brother that hey, you ain't gonna give me your number, you beat? Toodaloo, fool. But the heart chakra is important because you cannot open up to the other levels of consciousness or the higher levels of consciousness without working on your heart. And that's important. If somebody comes off you wrong, or can anybody pull you out of character? Have you ever been moved out of character? Have you unconsciously, and I had this happen, someone making a journey, or they was thinking they were making a journey, and then they moved themselves out of character just to manipulate the situation. Hmm. Well, brother, I was like, hold up. That sounds like manipulation to me. I don't do that. I don't do manipulation too well. But that's that heart that needs to be worked on. And that's important. Another area that I didn't have this set up with, in the heart chakra and the journey to the divine feminine. Did I pull it over here? There we go. It should pop up soon. Is dealing with, we can do this one until that one comes over. Time. Time. When you start working inside your higher levels and you're getting past the heart chakra, and it's not time, but it's intuition. I'm sorry, forgive me, because time was supposed to be the next one. and it didn't. The image didn't come over just yet. But in the process of dealing with the higher levels of the higher chakras, you're dealing with the issue of intuition, your third eye. That's that power. That's that things that you know that you know that you know that no one has to tell you. No one has to say anything. You can feel the universe. And there's information. You're so connected to everything around you. Hey, I'm not. I had a friend of mine. She was so connected to her intuition is so high. She pulled into a gas station with a boyfriend. They were about to pump gas, and she goes to pump gas, and then she pauses, and she looks at him, and she says, "We need to leave." What? She said, "We need to leave this gas station now." Now, when a brother's out with a sister, and the sister says, "Now," she mean it. They pull off and they go home or they go to another gas station, and she looks at the news and that gas station was robbed and the people in the gas station was shot not too long after she pulled off. Whatever dudes walked in there, she just felt something and she was out of there. Tuition. Now, brothers have it. I have it. I know I do. But not like a sister. Understanding this power, this divine feminine, opens up black women to universal information that the average conditioned mind sister doesn't get. Ain't that beautiful? And if you can tap into it, it's a whole different level. Let's see. And the last one, and I don't have a image for. I thought I had the image for this one, but I don't. It's time. How you now the black woman's body, again, black woman's medicine, where she seeks medicine until she becomes medicine. The issue of the journey from trauma to triumph, the divine feminine, time. Time is a thing where there's no other, the black woman can regulate the hours of the day by the functionality of her body. And if there are certain things that you do at a certain time of the day, certain meditations, certain prayers, certain diets at a certain particular time, and there's a book that breaks the time down of a woman's body. Meditate, pray, eat, fast throughout the day. 24 a season in a black woman's life is not 3 months, 3 months or 4 quarters. No, a season in a black woman's life is one day. One day is a season because her body will respond different on Monday versus on Tuesday or Wednesday, Thursday. Why? Because it is connecting to the movement of the universe. We're going to get deeper into this as we continue. But these are the areas that we deal with. Women deal with. I say we. I'm going to keep saying we. Why? Because I come from a black woman. We all do. And so we need to say we because our we is singular. We're one moving body of consciousness, multiple fractions of the same one consciousness, which is the creator. And the creator is not a man and is not a being with only manly attributes. The creator has a balance of energy, male and female. Let us create man in our own image, one male, one female. This is the man, the womb man, they say it, how they used to break it down. The womb man, the mankind, the man as a species that has a womb to produce life. Black woman's medicine. She has the ability to synchronize, to become in syncopation with the universe. So her acknowledging and how she functions and flows and her ebbs and flows in the annals of time. It's not time for you to go outside. It's not time for you to eat. It's time. Hey, don't you think it's time? My mother said, don't you think it's time to take out the trash? If y'all realize your mama always using the word time. Is it time for you to start your homework? Time for you to do the chores? She's connected to the movement of the universe and time. That's a whole nother level of study. That's a sermon by itself. The ticking clock. What? Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. When you're dealing with a black woman's medicine. Now, most of the time when we dealing with this, and I've always saw, and again, y'all would see images, and I'm always posting images that glorifies, honors the sister. I never, when you look at stuff and you stare at it, you wonder what is the true power of a black woman when they do these things. What is it that she has inside her that I want to see? I said, man, let me see the sister who believes that she manifests and holds up the world. Ain't that something? That's a power that I know is in me, but I only have one X chromosome. She has a double X, so she's got 2 times the power of who she is. I'm split. But that's why I say my Y chromosome is capitalized. I always talk about my Y chromosome. But everybody, women don't have the Y, they have the X. They double amplified according to their spiritual energy. And it's a beautiful thing because when that happens, her frequency changes. The vibration of who she is changes. She opens up in ways that you could never imagine. But that's when she's on that journey. Every sister are calling themselves queen now. You're just tapping into changing the language. But before you change the language of calling yourself queen, I got to speak life. No, you got to heal. The womb healing comes first. Understanding your creation power. I know a sister who said, I don't want no kids. And I sit down and shake my head. And you're denying your creation power. You don't even know who you are and why you're here. Ain't that something? Women who become bitter behind the interaction with a man they chose who just happened to get them pregnant. Now they're stuck, struggling, one child. I ain't gonna never have no kids. Somebody just messed up your vibrational frequency from keeping you being the woman that you are called to be. Digging deep to find your inner strength is that divine feminine. Now, there had to be a world that understood who you truly are. There had to be a world that understood who you truly are. And in that space of understanding who you truly are, there was nothing that you couldn't call into play. Your power of the law of attraction is incredible because you are the one that manifests 2 wombs. A man who has his womb or his creation environment, laboratory is in his mind. A man has to create here and then manifest it with his hand. A woman manifests thoughts here and here. I can produce life within and I can produce life without. A man can only produce life outside himself. The Creator did not give us the privilege to feel what it's like to have life built into life. When you're in that in tune, you can speak and know which root heals which ailment. They talk about how because black women, they coming from the motherland, took roots, took this, took that, saw herbs, everything. How did they know what this fruit would do back in the day where their medicine became their food? Easy. They became connected with the universe, where all was at their call and power. So when they wanted to know information, it was automatically unlocked within. And so they could call forward things. And things would just take place. They say that the black man gives her something. She is the one that produces. If he has an idea, she's the one. That's why she's the helpmate. You can't, man, please. You're not real successful if you don't have the sister behind you helping you. You're functioning from your ego because you're not meant as men. We can, in this world in which men built, right? We destroyed what women helped us build, which were better communities. There's not an African empire that did not respect women. All of them did. But now we live in societies where we don't. And black men think, hey, I'm going to go out here and conquer the world. Why? Because that was a precept of a European male frame of thinking. And this is why they took over. There's stories where, oh, wait, you let women help you lead? Oh, that's blasphemy in Greece. No. Why? Because you have the muscle, but you didn't have the intuition to call forward what you seek. And so if things are not working out for you, it's because you still got to do the work to tap in. Now, as again, in this journey, a lot of women seek medicine to heal. And so they go, it's outside everything that they're doing is outside themselves in this journey. In the beginning, your journey becomes an outside search. Everything that you're looking for is outside you. But then when you start tapping in, not because you're looking for the medicine out, and then things change when you seek to become the medicine that you need. When you become the doctor, that's the journey. That's the journey, and that's what we'll be diving into even more. We will take these points, and I'll have somebody in the next time we show, and we'll have a discussion on, the intro or the whole journey of uh journey toward the black feminine, the divine feminine. Sorry. And we'll hopefully have some sisters come and speak on that journey, their experience. Because now when they're talking about black girls heal, black girl power, black girl magic, it's real. They're seeing things inside themselves that the world chooses and continues to hide. Why? Because we would change the world if we saw our women according to who God created them to be. The community would literally change the planet the minute we gave her true seat. We got out her way so that she could have her, because we can't give her anything. She claims it in a world that tells her, no, you're not going to have it. But when a black man sits down and says, come on, let's go together. You tap into the divine feminine, you and I'm going to tap into the divine masculine. And we are going to be a team. Why? Because God gave us dual responsibility in this world. So that black girl heal movement is becoming absolutely real. There's so many sisters now who are communicating, saying, I need to connect and with my sisters. And in that space, in the history of black women interacting with black women, I don't get along well with girls. The cat fighting and can't know why. It's because you refuse to see yourself and your sister to who you truly are. But when you begin to realize that, you realize that I cannot continue to make this move without her, without the woman that looks like me, because she is going through the same thing that I've gone through in this world, which is real. And so when we talk about medicine, what is it that you seek outwardly that you have not found inside? They become a reflection, or you become a reflection of each other. That is the power. of that journey. It's not. And if you out there doing it by yourself, you're missing the mark. It is sisters who understand that they need sisters because our identity in ourselves has to come first. Mm. And so there was one time I was talking about this when I first started, I was using this proverb. Now, in the spiritual community, man, these sisters are jumping on this thing. Proverbs woman. I'm a Proverbs woman. And I'm like, did you read the first sentence of the Proverbs woman? It says, who can find a virtuous woman? Who can find her? And he named the Proverbs woman, but what you forget was she didn't exist. She didn't exist in the whole nation of Israel. He said, who can find her? She was rare. And sisters be like, a man got to find me. Y'all crazy. Those who are saying that are not in tune to what the word is saying. He's not looking necessarily for you. You're not. What he's saying is you're not connected to the God that you're supposed to be connected to in a way that you're supposed to be connected to it. Your God source. So the majority, the power of a black woman is so exponential. When he lists the virtues, it's like she rules the planet. And a lot of feminine sisters, feminists, don't like this particular sermon because, or this particular scripture, because it looks like she does everything. Why? Because she can literally do everything in God on behalf of the nation she's called. Why? Because it's all called to her. Oh man, there we go. Okay, so it looks like I'm still online. However, I can't see the software. Right. So I'm looking at myself online and I'm still here. So we're going to continue this and we're going to talk about this looking at this. And I don't know how to, I'm not going to know how to end this because the software is still up. I'm still talking. I'm still live, but I have no controls over everything. So I'm letting y'all know that now. And so I'll try to reboot, not reboot, but restart this software. And this is what was happening to me in the beginning. So I can't see anything now. I'm blind.